Good morning, students. Welcome to the physics class. Now, as per the CBSE, the first chapter which is going to discuss is your physical world. Now, before starting this chapter, let me try to discuss few things. The first thing which we are going to discuss is what is the use of this chapter. Now all of you are science students, so as you are the science students, you have to study physics, chemistry and biology. Now if you want to study physics, the first question that comes to your mind, why do you study physics? What is in physics that you must have to study? So before going to the actual topic, let me take one example. Suppose if you want to travel some destination, what do you used to do basically? You used to see the history and geography of that destination in the search engine. Now, if that history and geography of the place convince you, then definitely you used to make your plan to visit that place. So it means in Google search you used to go through brief information about that place. So here is also similarly, as you are the science students, if you want to study physics, then definitely you must have to know what is inside the physics, what are the things you have to study. So that part comes from this chapter, that is physical world. Now this chapter is very small chapter, and also one or two questions used to come in exam. But this chapter is very important in the sense, once you go through this chapter, then definitely this chapter helps you to cultivate the knowledge that help you to study physics. Now before going to study what is physics, basically physics is a branch of science. Now let me try to discuss a little bit about science. Now what is science? As per the definition, you see the systematically organized and formulated knowledge which the humans gain through the observation and experiment. So you see few words, that's a very important. One is your organized knowledge, formulated knowledge, and observation and experiment. So these are the few important words in the definition of science. Now make the definition clear. It is nothing but a systematically organized and formulated knowledge which the humans gain through the observation and experiment. So first thing in science is your observation. Now what kind of observation we used to do? Observation is nothing but in your surrounding, observation of nature. Okay, now what we observe in our surrounding, we try to interpret that observation in lab, and that is nothing but is your experiment. Now once we perform that experiment in lab, what is the next step? Next step is to define the reasoning why these things happening. Suppose in front of our home water flows from left to right. So every time when I used to see that water flows in front of our house from left to right, not from right to left. So this is one kind of observation. Now if we want to know the details of this flow, what we will do? We will perform the experiment in the lab. Now in lab, what we will do? We will take a pipe and we will take some amount of water and we will try to observe under what condition the water will flow through this pipe from left to right. Now definitely we'll come to the conclusion, if the level of water in left side is higher than the level of water in right side, then water will flow from higher level to lower level. So after this experiment, we'll come to the conclusion that in front of our home, as the water moves from left to right, then definitely the level of water in left side is higher than the level of water in right side. That's why the water always flows from left to right when you used to see. Maybe one day, maybe 2 days, maybe several days, maybe year after year, every time the water moves from left to right. The reason is your what? The left side level of water is little bit higher than the right side level. That's why the water flows from left to right. So we are getting the reason why the flow of water is from left to right in the lab. So knowledge basically comes from mind as well as from lab. And in book, what we used to do, we used to interpret the knowledge so that the next generation can avail that knowledge. So more we'll discuss, but after this topic, let me go for number B. Now, science can be classified as a physical science and biological science. Now, what is physical science? The science which deals with non-living things is called as physical science. Non-living things. It may be physics, it may be chemistry, it may be geology. All these deal with the non-living things. Now, next one is your biological science. Basically, the biological science deals with living things and it comes under zoology, botany, anthropology. So here basically we'll try to discuss physical science, and from physical science we'll try to discuss physics. But let me discuss few things before discussing physics. Now this is your number A, what is science. Number B is your classification. Now number C, this is a very important one, scientific method. Scientific method. Now what is scientific method? Here already we have defined, this is an organized knowledge. Science is your organized knowledge. So in scientific method we will try to explain this organized knowledge. Now in scientific method, you see what we have written. Scientific method is the step-by-step or systematic attempt made by the scientist in studying natural phenomena and establishing the laws which govern these phenomena. Okay. Now science starts from the observation, is not it? So in scientific method, the first point is your what? Observation. So scientific method involves, number one, taking large number of systematic observation through controlled experiment. Okay. First of all, what you have to do, you have to observe surrounding. Suppose if I drop an object, if I release an object from a particular height, what will happen? It comes towards the earth. No? This is nothing but a kind of observation. Okay. Now number two, once you observe the phenomenon, what you have to do, suppose after rain, the rainbow appears in the sky. So this is some kind of observation, rainbow appears. Okay. Now we are going to observe this phenomenon, that is rainbow. Why the rainbow comes. Now number two, after getting the observation, what we have to do, we have to try that one in lab. That is your experiment. Now after rain, the rainbow appears in the sky. Now in lab, what we'll do, we'll use a source of light. We'll use a source of light and we'll let stream of water to flow in a particular direction, and on that stream of water, what we'll do, we'll project the source of light. So once we project the source of light, we'll see that 7 colors appear. Now 7 colors appears. What is the reason? Because we may conclude that definitely the light which project on the stream of water composed of 7 color, and when these 7 color strike on that stream of water, then that 7 color splits. That 7 color splits. So what we are trying to define here, we are trying to define the qualitative parameter. Qualitative in the sense quality of source of light. The source of light is composed of 7 color. That is nothing but the quality. Now what is quantitative? Quantitative in the sense, if a source of light moves on the stream of water, now when it comes back and falls at an angle 42 degree on our eye, then 7 colors appear. If the angle is less than 42 degree or more than 42 degree, then definitely you will not be able to see the 7 color. So that is your quantitative reasoning. Okay, because if the angle is less or more than 42 degree, then you will not be able to get the 7 color. So that is your quantitative reasoning. And qualitative reasoning is your what? Qualitative reasoning is that definitely the source of light composed of 7 color, that's why that 7 color splits when it strikes on the stream of water. Now next what we have to do, we have to suggest a mathematical model to account for the observed behavior. Now mathematical model in the sense we have to give some kind of mathematical formula. Now for example, if you consider the attraction between the objects, as you have got in lower class, the gravitational force. The gravitational force comes whenever there is a mass. So the formula which is predicted is nothing but is your F equal to G m1 m2 by r square. Now this mathematical formula is valid with respect to the distance between the two mass. So this is one kind of mathematical formula, and this formula we can interpret theoretically for other phenomenon, and with respect to that phenomenon we can check whether this formula is your right or wrong. For example, if we throw an object, what will happen? It gets pulled by the earth. So it's not necessary only earth gets pull these objects. It may be possible that sun is also pull these objects, or moon is also pull these objects. But only we are able to see the attraction for the earth because the distance of that object from the earth is less compared to the distance of that object from the sun or moon. So if somehow we can make the distance same as that of the object and earth with respect to the moon or sun, so definitely that object also get attracted either by moon or sun. So that's way what we can do, we can manipulate the parameter to check out whether the formula is valid or not. So mathematical model is nothing but the formula which you have to define. Now next one is your theoretical predicting new phenomenon on the basis of suggested model. If the mathematical model or the working formula is right, then definitely it explains the other phenomenon. Now if it can't explain the other phenomenon, then definitely there is some scope for correction, and for correction either we can modify the theory or we can modify the formula. So this is all about your scientific method. Now more we will explain next class. So thank you.